Childhood is often mistakenly presumed to be a carefree and joyous time, free from the stresses and challenges that plague adult life. However, children, like all human beings, grapple with their own set of anxieties, fears, and insecurities. When I was a child, the weight of stress settled on me like an invisible cloak. It wasn't that I had extraordinarily difficult challenges, but the everyday pressures of school, friendships, and family expectations felt like mountains I wasn't equipped to climb. I remember the physical sensations distinctly: the tightness in my chest, the butterflies in my stomach, the restless nights staring at the ceiling. Somehow, even then, I sensed that showing my stress would only add to the burden of the adults around me. My parents already had their hands full with work, managing the household, and their own sets of worries. So I kept my struggle to myself, internalizing the stress and developing coping mechanisms that were anything but healthy. I threw myself into schoolwork as a distraction, and when that didn't work, I'd escape into daydreams. Anything to avoid confronting the mess of emotions inside me. Carrying those unspoken stresses into adulthood was like hauling a bag of bricks everywhere I went. Although I was no longer a child, the coping mechanisms I'd adopted stayed with me. Because I never learned healthy ways to process stress, I found myself leaning on the same crutches: overworking, withdrawing, avoiding. The facade worked for a while, at least externally, but internally the weight only grew heavier. Stress impacted my relationships, my job, and even my physical health. The signs were everywhere: the tension headaches, the irritability that tainted even the happiest moments. But the worst part? Since I'd spent a lifetime hiding my stress, even the people who cared about me most had no idea how deeply I was struggling. Eventually, I understood that bottling up my emotions wasn't protecting anyone. It was just isolating me in a prison of my own making, so I took steps to remedy my situation. As an adult, I'm now able to recognize how unhealthy this all was. I sought out support and developed new, better ways to manage stress in my daily life. However, as an educator, I see students every day and wonder how many of them are on the same path that I was. Mental health concerns among children have been on the rise for years, a trend exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, during which symptoms of anxiety and depressive disorders were on the rise, as well as pediatric emergency department visits related to mental health. We need our children to understand that their mental health is paramount to their overall well-being and development, and the start of a new school year is a key time to work on these habits. September marks a season of change for all of us, but especially for our children. New teachers, new classmates, new lessons, and perhaps even a new school. While the fresh start of a new academic year can be invigorating, it can also bring stress, anxiety, and provoke feelings of instability and uncertainty in children. That is why September is an opportune time for parents and educators to share strategies with their kids that will support them in managing their own mental health. Here are a few things that we can do for them. The first step is to establish open channels of communication. Make it a regular practice to talk to your kids about their day. Use dinner time or bedtime as an opportunity to discuss what they did, who they interacted with, and how they felt about those interactions. By doing this consistently, you're teaching them that their feelings and experiences are valid and important, laying a foundation for more open dialogue about their emotional well-being. September is often a whirlwind of activities: school shopping, orientation, first day jitters, and adjustments to new routines. So it's crucial to establish regular check-in times during this period. Instead of expecting them to initiate conversations about their feelings, schedule moments to talk. You could use creative methods like drawing or writing to help them express their emotions, but a simple "how are you feeling about school this week" can go a long way. Even if they don't respond, Consistently checking in lets them know you're there when they're ready to talk. Children thrive on predictability, so a well-structured routine can provide them with a sense of security and control and reduce feelings of anxiety. Make sure there's a balance of academic tasks, physical activities, creative play, and rest. Further, a consistent bedtime coupled with adequate sleep is crucial for emotional well-being. School, just like home, should be a sanctuary where children feel safe to express themselves without judgment. So, whether you're a parent or an educator, create that space. Let kids know that their feelings and thoughts are safe with you, and they will not be ridiculed, dismissed, or punished for sharing their ideas, concerns, or questions. You might even create a dedicated worry space where they can talk about or write down their fears or concerns. This is particularly helpful for introverted children who may not otherwise feel comfortable talking about what's bothering them. When children express feelings of stress or discomfort, resist the urge to offer immediate solutions and avoid statements such as, "It's not a big deal," and "You'll get over it." Instead, involve them in problem solving. Ask questions like, "What can we do to solve this problem?" And "What do you think would make you feel better?" By participating in finding a solution, children feel empowered, learn coping mechanisms, and understand that they have control over their feelings. Physical activity releases endorphins, known as feel-good hormones, which means that regular exercise can have a profound impact on mental well-being. Given that in traditional schools, children often sit for long periods of time, encouraging physical activity becomes even more crucial. Whether it's after-school sports, dance classes, or just playing in the park, make sure physical activity is part of their daily routine. Introduce them to simple breathing exercises, meditation, or techniques like progressive muscle relaxation. These tools can help them manage stress and remain centered. Overexposure to screens can exacerbate anxiety and impact sleep, so set clear guidelines about screen time and encourage offline activities. Social skills are key to emotional well-being. Encourage children to make friends, participate in group activities, and build connections. As someone who works in a school, I know firsthand the resources we have available. I also know that many parents don't take advantage of them. It is possible that parents don't know what supports are on hand, and schools should certainly do a better job of communicating their offerings to parents. But generally speaking, all schools have counselors, peer support programs, and other resources dedicated to student well-being. Make use of these, whether it's regular meetings with a school counselor or participation in peer-led workshops on coping with stress. If there's something you want that doesn't seem available, ask for it. Oftentimes, a meeting with the principal, counselor, or other designee can spark a much-needed new initiative. Despite your best efforts, some problems might require professional intervention. If you notice persistent changes in mood, appetite, or behavior, it might be time to consult a mental health professional. They can provide specialized techniques and coping mechanisms. By taking these steps, particularly in September as children transition into new academic and social settings, we, as parents, educators, and caregivers, can provide crucial support to our kids by setting the stage for open dialogue and developing healthy coping strategies. Understanding their own mental health needs will not only help children in their formative years, but will also create a more emotionally intelligent and resilient future generation.